Let's just say we don't like scoring goals. Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Sport, and in this video we are going to give you pretty much full-time reaction of Manchester United beating Watford in the FA Cup third round in the Saturday night football. And well, it was only a goal that separated the Premier League and Championship teams. It was 1-0 for Scott McTominay in the 4th minute, which it's normal for him at the moment, isn't it? McTominay loves scoring early, and it's normally the winning goal straight away. Let's not forget the 2 quick goals he scored against Leeds United before Christmas. But yeah, not much really happened after that. It stayed at that scoreline, and Watford couldn't find that equaliser. But for United, not the most convincing. Okay, there was a lot of changes in the game tonight. Eric Bailly came in, for example, and Tuan Zebi came in, so Maguire and Lindelof weren't in defence. Lingard, now that's a name I haven't seen in a while. I forgot his face, to be honest. It's been that long since he's been on the pitch for Manchester United, probably since the Europa League last season. But yeah, and then I think McTominay was in midfield, of course, but yeah, Daniel James up front as well with Greenwood, and yeah, it wasn't the most convincing performance. I think maybe for Solskjaer, it was just to get through, even if it was a ugly way of going through, because after going out in the League Cup, it would not have looked good for United to have lost 2 cups in the matter of days, especially when the second game was against the Championship side. But you know, a win's a win. But as I say, the game wasn't great. McTominay was the captain as well for Manchester United, so it was a proud night for him, for our academy player. And he got man of the match, and he was my man of the match. Not by a landslide or anything, but he did his bit. He was good in defence when needed. He scored the winning goal, and he played well for me. And you know, McTominay again shows the promise he has. And I think the other promise for me tonight was Dean Henderson, the second goalkeeper for United at the moment, who showed that he could be in the right position at the right time as a goalkeeper. He even had a couple of runs out of the penalty area to make a clearance, and he nailed it. There was a scary moment against Sarr, but he got there first and beat him to it for it to go out for a throw. And so, you know, little positives here and there. But I was watching the game in the second half when, to tell you the truth, I was nearly falling asleep. The game wasn't great. Watford had a lot of moments, though. They had some moments in that game where if they had got it right in the set pieces, especially in the air, they could have found an equaliser and turned the game around. Because for me, United's biggest weakness is set pieces. They showed that against Manchester City earlier this week. John Stones, of course, getting the first goal, and then the Fernandinho half volley freak of a goal after Wan-Bissaka cleared it. So Watford clearly worked on that. They clearly looked at the tapes and thought set pieces is where we're at. And Watford have some big players in there. And it nearly worked. It just didn't happen for them today. So luckily for United, it stayed 1-0. But I was watching the game, and throughout the second half, I was watching with my dad, and I was a bit like, where do our goals come from? And again, you can say, well, we don't have a fully strength squad for this game. And it's like, yeah, but it doesn't matter. You've got what's the point of football? It's to score more goals than your opponents. The whole objective is to score goals. Now, I'm not that fussed about the technical side of football sometimes. I get a bit bored of it, to be honest, because instead of going forward, it's a bit like this. It's like a line. You see a pass from the right wing across to the left wing, then back midfield, then back to the goalkeeper a lot of the times now, because people aren't willing to push forward, or there's a tactic that the manager's given them so that they don't go and score goals. And I'm just like, well, who wants to play like that? It's boring and it's negative. Okay, I'm not a coach. I'm not, but as a fan, I want to see my team push forward. And I was watching Liverpool-Southampton the other night, and even though Liverpool lost to Southampton, they still got 16, 17 attempts in, and at least you can leave the stadium after full time and actually go to bed and say, at least we've put everything in the game. Because United didn't do that for me tonight. And luckily, as I say, McTominay got an early goal, and that was the winning goal. But throughout the game, it really was, where's our goals coming from? The set pieces is crap. Has been all season, has been for a long time. Even before Solskjaer arrived, set pieces has just not existed in terms of United attacking their opponents. I mean, bring on the days of when Vidic was there. He had a few headers that would go in, and no one could deal with him. But now it's it's always at Maguire, and Watford tonight surrounded him each time, and he came on in the second half because of Eric Bailly going off. So again, Eric Bailly could be injured again, who in my eyes, I will stress this now, deserves to start as a centre-back for United after what he did in the games against Wolves and Villa. But yeah, it's not looking good, and I think, you look at people like Daniel James, where, when's there enough experience for him? Because there's still a little bit of excuses here and there I've been reading. And he's been at United for a year and a half now, and I would say he's had enough minutes to show us what he's capable of, and it's not United level, if you ask me, not what United require from a winger. He had moments tonight, but again, he's just not good enough. He's a skinny player as well. I've got a problem with that. I think you've got a bit of muscle in you, because Antonio Valencia reminded me of that when he was a right winger for United. Not only was he fast, but he was bulky, and he was awesome. And he was just absolutely awesome against his opponents and keeping them away from the ball while going on the run. And he could cross as well until the later part of his career. So that's how I look at James, where he does crosses that he doesn't even look before he takes them as well, and it ends up going to no one in the box, and it's an easy thing to deal with for the defence. Greenwood tonight didn't really have much to shout about. He's gone a bit off recently. Okay, he's had a lot of games coming off the bench, but tonight I think he had 490 minutes, I might be wrong, but he started, and there wasn't much of an impact there. And I'm worried now, because as I said, I looked through some of these games, and I watched the Wolves game, the last game before the New Year. It was goalless until the 93rd minute, and United won because Rashford just thought, look, I'll have a go. Took a deflection and it went in. If it didn't take a deflection, United would not have got the 3 points, and we wouldn't be joint top right now with Liverpool. Lucky win, you'd take it. The following game, I went to this game at Old Trafford, and it was Aston Villa. Aston Villa on good form, just came back from a draw against Stamford Bridge. At Stamford Bridge against Chelsea. Okay, Martial scored a header. It was, it's a good team goal. We don't see it though, because what happened? The second goal was a penalty, which is typical United. And I'm not saying, I'm not arguing about it. It's a goal. It counts. Penalties are down to the refs, but it is a tactic to get penalties. I've always believed it has for the last few years. And Fernandes, or some like to say Fernandes, scored to win the game. And then what happened? We play against Man City. We had nothing. We had nothing up front. And we didn't look like we'd score if we had another 90 minutes against Man City. That worries me. United need goals. And I compare it, I'm going to keep comparing it to the Fergie days, because at the end of the day, that's when we were good. Liverpool play like United did 7-8 years ago at the moment, where even if you lose, you will have so many attempts in that 90 minutes. And there's no shame in my eyes. Sometimes it's just not your day. Sometimes you will have chances and you'd think, how did he not score that? That should go in. It just happens. That's football. That's why we love it. It's unpredictable. But United don't even have that. There's no fight sometimes with these players. And I get some of them are young, but I'm just not seeing it. And this is a worry for Solskjaer, because I'll say this now. Players like Daniel James will get you fired. Lingard will get you fired, which I really hope we see the back of Lingard, because it's been, 1 or 2 years now, where he's just not been... I don't remember a good game from him. And I think at some point you've got to just let him go, sadly, despite him being from the academy. But that happens. That's football. There's not second chances now and again for some players. I think he's had more than one chance at United. But this is what I mean. There's players like that who just won't work out. I'll say it now. Anthony Martial will get you fired. Some people would disagree with me and think Martial last season got 23 goals? That was last season. This season, there's just nothing there, is there? Martial's just disappeared. But the 23 goals last season still didn't convince me. I'm not a person that's a stats person. Not all the time. I want to see it on the pitch. And for me, Martial, I'm not convinced. Rashford, he didn't have much minutes tonight, and he is probably one of our best players. Not sure about him at the moment. Off form, yes. But again, I still think, thank goodness the Cavani ban finishes now. I think that's it. He could come back for Burnley in midweek, because he's the one who's just got that brain of a football up front, who knows his awareness, knows where to position himself for when the ball comes in and score goals. And score goals out of nowhere as well, which is what a world-class striker does. He's a bounty hunter. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to kill. So that's just how I feel about United. We don't have goals in us at the moment, and I think Solskjaer needs to worry about that going forward, because we've got Burnley. We've got to win. It's away from home, won't be easy, and Liverpool straight after, who Liverpool will throw everything at us, and we've got to be ready. And I'll say this now: Twanzebe and Eric Bailly deserve to start in the defence for me, because they don't make big mistakes like Lindelof. Anyway, those were my thoughts. What do you think at home? What do you think of the win from United against Watford? Were you convinced? I hope you weren't, because it was terrible. Thank you very much for watching, and subscribe to Let's Talk Sport.